Hello, welcome to A Life Without Parole. I am covering a story that I covered a long time ago, and that has to do with an Australian woman who is accused of murdering 3 people, her in-laws, with death cap mushrooms. I'm doing another story about that because the case is finally going to trial. I'm on location for another story, so I'm literally videoing in my car, but I wanted to get on here real quick and get you caught up on what's happening with Erin Patterson from Australia. This is one of the craziest stories that I've ever covered, and my hunches of what was happening seemed to be coming true according to the prosecutor, and I'm going to tell you how that all ties in. But when's the last time you heard of someone murdering their in-laws with mushrooms? This is unique, so let's talk about it. So there's been new details revealed during the trial of Erin Patterson. Now remember, she's the woman accused of killing 3 with toxic mushrooms. The estranged husband of Erin Patterson took the stand on Thursday. Now his estranged wife is accused of lacing Beef Wellington with toxic mushrooms. And he told the court Thursday that he declined the invitation to go to lunch because he felt uncomfortable about it. The jury also heard that the woman invited her guests over to tell them she had cancer. But the prosecutor said she didn't actually have the disease. That was a ruse. Erin Patterson, 50, is charged with 3 murders of the parents and the aunt of her estranged husband. She's also charged with 1 attempted murder. Erin has pleaded not guilty to all counts, with her defense saying the fatal beef and pastry meal laced with death cap mushrooms was the result of a terrible accident. On the second day of the trial that has drawn global attention, the accused woman's husband, Simon Patterson, described seeing his parents in the hospital after they had been poisoned. This is a quote from his testimony, and I quote, "Dad was substantially worse than Mum. He was really struggling. He was lying on his side. He was hunched. And my father's face was really discolored. He wasn't right inside. He was feeling pain." Now remember, his father ended up dying, and so did his mother. I think he thought perhaps his mom was going to make it through it. She didn't seem to be as sick, but she didn't. And neither did his aunt. The only person that made it through was his uncle. It's interesting because I'm going to show you in a minute a video of Erin Patterson that someone got her before she was arrested, and it was outside her home. At that time, she said Don, the dad, the father-in-law, was still alive, and that Ian was the one that was dead, and she wasn't even correct. It was the uncle that was alive, and her father-in-law was dead. It seems like that is something that you would know, like which one is dead. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's keep going. Simon Patterson had been invited to the lunch in late July 2023 at his wife's home in Leongatha, Australia. But he told the court he declined, texting her that he was uncomfortable with her invitation. She urged him to reconsider, saying she had cooked a special meal and spent a small fortune on beef fillet. Oh yeah, it was a special meal, all right. Continuing on with her text messaging to her estranged husband, "I hope you will change your mind," said her text. And this was read in court. "I hope to see you there." Erin claims she had cancer, prosecutors say. Erin had invited the guests under the guise of telling them about a health issue. This was all brought out in court. Simon Patterson did not turn up to the lunch, but his parents, Dawn and Gail Patterson, did, along with his aunt, Heather Wilkinson, and her husband, a local pastor, Erin Wilkinson, who is the only survivor of the four. Within days, Dawn and Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson were dead. And I'm not talking about just a murder, but really torturous, the kind of pain that they went through. Erin Wilkinson, the pastor, survived after nearly 2 months in the hospital. During the lunch gathering, Erin Patterson said she had cancer and asked for advice about how to tell her children. Okay, so this was brought out in court. I find this interesting because one of her early interviews, when she was still, before she was arrested and she was taking interviews once in a while, she said that she fed the Beef Wellington to her children and herself, and it was just amazing that they didn't get sick, but that her children didn't like mushrooms, so she scraped their mushrooms off. Then in another interview, she said that they were actually not even there, they were at cinema, and I find it interesting that in the court, it's talking about she was going to say, how do I tell my children about my cancer diagnosis, which didn't exist, but so that would mess with her original thing that the kids were there eating with her. You see what I'm saying? None of this is adding up. She's not good at telling stories, let's just say. The 4 guests developed diarrhea and vomiting within 12 hours of the meal and were raced to the hospital. They were diagnosed by treating doctors with poisoning by death cap mushrooms. At the hospital, Simon Patterson said his father informed him of his wife's claimed cancer diagnosis, of which he had not previously heard, because it didn't exist. His parents were really strong in encouraging the couple to resolve their marital issues. This is according to Simon. Simon told the court his wife got along well with her father-in-law as they shared a love of knowledge and learning and an interest in the world. They seemed like spectacular people. I think she loved his gentle nature, Simon said in his testimony. Simon Patterson and his wife separated in 2015, but maintained a good friendship, even going on holiday with their children together. By 2022, things had become tense, and conversations were mostly limited to logistics involving the children. This is all testimony that's coming out in court. Erin Patterson was a devoted mother to their children and supported their involvement in a variety of activities, her husband said. What's interesting about all this, well, I'm going to tell in a minute, but it's just crazy because I'm pretty sure she messaged me on one of the videos that I did about her. I'll tell that in a minute. The prosecution says she deliberately poisoned her guests and avoided consuming the death cap mushrooms herself. She, of course, is claiming that she too went to hospital. This is going to come out in the court, I'm sure, because, It is alleged that she pretended to be suffering from similar symptoms to cover up that she had not eaten the mushrooms. While the jury might wonder about the reason, motive is not something that has to be proven by the prosecution, and that was brought out in court. Erin's lawyer, Colin Mandy, told the court the poisoning was a tragedy and a terrible accident. She ate the same meal with death cap mushrooms, but did not fall as sick as her guests. Erin is being tried in courts south of Melbourne. Justice Christopher Bale urged the jury to dispassionately weigh the evidence in the case, using their heads and not their hearts. The trial is expected to last 6 weeks. Let's talk about poisonous mushrooms. Police say the symptoms of the 4 sickened family members were consistent with poisoning from wild death cap mushrooms. They sprout freely throughout wet, warm parts of Australia and are easily mistaken for edible varieties. They reportedly taste sweeter than other types of mushrooms but possess potent toxins that slowly poison the liver and the kidneys. Death caps are responsible for 90% of lethal mushroom poisoning globally, and that's according to the BBC. In 2020, a spate of poisonings in Victoria killed 1 person and hospitalized 7 others. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation reported that Erin Patterson had written in a statement that she had cooked a Beef Wellington steak dish for the lunch using mushrooms bought from a major supermarket chain and dried mushrooms from an Asian grocery store. She wrote that she had also eaten the meal and later suffered stomach pains and diarrhea. One piece of evidence that came out during trial that we didn't know prior was that Erin plated each of the 4 guests' food on a certain color of plate, and she herself had a smaller, different color plate that she ate from. It's a nice way to know which one has poison and which one doesn't. Her children, again, this story changes depending on which one you get, were not present at the lunch, but ate some of the leftover Beef Wellington the next day. The mushrooms have been scraped off the dish because they don't like them. That's according to Erin. The bottom line is, I think that Erin's got a lot of splaining to do. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. The most ironic part for me is someone from Australia was messaging me after I did 2 different YouTube posts about this death cap mushroom. And it's possible it was her. I can tell you this, once she got arrested, those messages stopped. So, it could be one of her friends or someone who's just taking her side. It's hard to say. I did try to get that particular person to come on for an interview, and I don't know. Let me read you one of the quotes that I got. Another Australian here. That whole passage that you read from Sarah Berry is what I had heard in the news too. It just sounds like someone not wanting to judge before all the evidence has been collected. It doesn't sound like it would be Erin Patterson to me. I don't know. Here's another one. I am Australian, in fact, from Melbourne. I have been following the case since day one. What Sarah Berry said isn't really the same as reported in the news. The number of people attending lunch particularly. I guess we will find out from the testimony of the sole survivor at the lunch. I'm just saying, it's an interesting thing. We'll see if this Sarah Berry, I don't know, whether or not Sarah Berry was actually Erin is still to be determined, maybe never to find out, but it is interesting. No more comments from Sarah Berry once Erin was arrested. So it could be that it was Erin, or it could be whoever was defending Erin then sees her get arrested and no longer wants to defend her. What do you think? Do you think Sarah Berry is Erin, or do you think it's someone who defended Erin but now has taken a back seat? Comment below and let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll keep you posted as things keep coming up. I'll see you soon. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this out. Now I'll see you soon. See ya.